the best time of the week. Time to listen to the Three Brothers. Forget your garlic and your leeks and listen to the Three Brothers. It's fat-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and free from gluten and priestcraft too. If you click this accidentally, stick around. You might learn a thing or two. Chuck on a shirt, tie and shorts, and crack yourself a brew without any further ado. We are coming at you. Three brothers, juxtapositions, and midnight ramblings for sure. Three brothers, don't forget you get what you pay for. Three brothers, so come on down, don't even worry about it anymore. Three brothers.
Hello and welcome back, brothers and sisters, to this week's weekly podcast, The Three Brothers, with your favorite anchors, your favorite Three Brothers. From your favorite anchors to the channel, Three Brothers, here and coming at you live, semi-live, not really live, with the podcast this week. A pleasure to be here with you all and see you once again. And if you clicked on this link, we hope you stay a while. You might learn a thing or two.
Be sure to at least make one comment, join Discord, insult us, and then leave if you're a popular, LDS influencer. Like, be sure to at least do that.
That's how we like it.
Yeah.
That's how we roll.
How did we do from me to
Me to you.
I wanna follow up. Yeah.
I've literally never hit the timing on that. Yeah. One of these days.
Time to zoom us out here, brothers. Follow up. Yeah. All right, so the weekly update. How are we doing? And the goal was, or the commitment was, when planning your summer, or I guess wherever you were, because it's a little different down in Australia, put your money where your mouth claims your heart is, which is supposed to be the tower.
Just me to you. I want to follow up.
Yeah. So I mean, funnily enough, this was the commitment, and then I went on a holiday for a week. So me and my family.
Which I didn't know. I didn't know when I made the commitment. So
No. So we went down south for a week. It's a long story, but it was good. I mean, look, we just went and spent time as a family together for. It wasn't even a week; it was 3 nights. So that was a nice little getaway together as a family. We just did some fun, wholesome activities together and spent time together, and it was really, really nice actually. But in terms of this commitment, it's interesting because, and I have to imagine and I have to think that probably most people who are listening to this would be in the same boat. I feel like I'm constantly trying to prepare for the future and to build for the future and to, as it says, invest for eternity, invest for the future, build what lasts and do the right things. But it's sometimes I feel like I'm in a permanent rut almost with having to sort my life out in Babylon. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to grind and spin my wheels in Babylon, as we call it. And so it's a constant battle against doing that and right now I'm building a house, right? And I'm going into debt to do it because of course I am, because what else am I going to do? And I'm already in debt anyway. I've always been in debt my whole life, right? So no big surprise, but but that's like my thing right now. So, I've got all these wishes and desires and designs for the future, but stuck in this Babylonian sort of grind. And I think Ammon's rant is probably
This is
somewhat
a
about
very
this.
good entry into the rant.
Yeah. So I mean, so look, this is on my mind all the time, this commitment. It's just that doing something about it, it also requires you to have it on your mind all the time. Otherwise, you won't ever make any progress on it, basically, is the point, I suppose. Yeah. So
Mm, well said. Very good. For me, the past week has been nothing but hell on earth.
nice.
With spinning the wheels as well as far as work and everything goes. June is end of financial year, and in my industry, the busiest time of year, generally speaking. And for what I do and the people I deal with and stuff, just extremely complicated and difficult and draining. And I pretty much finish work and just pass out, basically. That's as much as my little heart can carry. So that's been my past week. I've really just gone to work and done seminary and done the other things that I do, and then completely evaporate from existence. But this commitment is a great ongoing one. And obviously, there's a temporal element, there's a spiritual element. And what leads into my rant personally on this point is the fact that it's such a grind in Babylon, like you were saying. It's just such a massive, steady grind. And I'm just trying to think of ways that I can ease the grind a little bit in my own life so that I can spend my time doing more important things. Because at the moment, I have to spend so much time and so much energy and so much commitment into money and career and all that sort of stuff. It just feels like a waste to me, honestly. It just feels like a waste. I'm not that interested in money. But money obviously makes things tick. So I'm trying to think of ways to get ahead or earn or get in a position where I don't have to grind myself like I'm currently doing so that I can do more important things. So yeah.
Yeah. How much effort do we spend doing something that doesn't matter in the end, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, these are great conversations and things that I find that like if you talk to different generations, you have different setbacks. So you talk to our generation about like, okay, I hear what you're saying. Are we willing to do these things? And I find like our generation immediately buckles up and maybe gets a little defensive. And I find if you talk to the older generation and you're like, okay, well then maybe we should do these things, they buckle up and they're like, more freedom and capitalism in America. And and they buckle up. And so it's a hard one, and it's one that's like, okay, are we actually willing to do what we're required to do? I've talked to a lot of people that are currently living in like Utah, in places like that, and it's like, and they're having this conversation like, oh, I hate Babylon, I don't want to work, this sucks, and of our generation, even our generation, and I will say, oh, okay, move to someplace like Michigan, move to someplace like Michigan. Oh, I just can't, mate. I got my family, I got this, and it's like, okay, so stop complaining. I'm sorry, just stop complaining about it. It's like I moved to Michigan. There's no family here for me. There's nothing. But I went through all this process, all of this, and said, okay, if I want to spend less time working, if I want to have more of these things, like where do I need to go? If I want to try to have some sort of path to get out of debt, where do I need to go? What do I need to do? And I think you talk to our generation about that, and it's like, well, the boomers didn't have to make that choice or that sacrifice, and it's like, you're right, they didn't. But are you willing to do it? And I'm finding that our generation will just get upset and just be like, no, like my path forward is this because I want to be in this area. I want debt or whatever. And then you talk to the older generation, it's the same thing. It's just a different direction. It's just a different way they get angry at this. And it's like, well, it's like what are we willing to sacrifice for what we actually believe is true? And it's funny because Ashley and I, we had the choice to buy. We had the money open up for us, and we had our dream property open up to us in Kenora. We had it. We walked the property and we said, this is our dream property. 70 acres on a lake, It had like something like 3,600 feet of frontage, which if you know anything about that, it's a massive on the lake. And it was like 5 minutes from our work. And it was a dream property. It was on Alcock Lake. It was an absolute dream property. And we went, we will never get out of debt here. And Canada's scary. And we went through the list and we went, okay, are we going to have our dream property and live in debt? And just be like, well, the boomers didn't have to make this choice, or are we going to make the tough choice and say, okay, well, I guess we're going to live someplace else that's not our dream property and do this and not fun choice. I really wanted that. I really wanted that in my Ford Bronco. So really tough. So anyway, so Ashley and I are familiar with these conversations, these choices, and this last week has been absolutely no different without even realizing it. Like with this commitment, once again, things came up, problems arose with things that I was hoping was settled, and we were like, okay, are we gonna move again? And not like across the country, but like further north into a different branch or into a different stake, and we've gone through the whole process. We've looked at like schools, like even a school and stuff. And so yeah, no, we have gone through this whole process entirely again this week of being like, okay, are we willing to sacrifice even more of our dreams to put our money where our mouth is if it were and figure out where we need to go. And I'll tell you what, these are not fun conversations to have, and they require a lot of honesty that I find that even myself as an honest person, it's why I believe I'm a very honest person. It's not fun to have these conversations with like, okay, do I not want to move and why? And where would I be willing to live and in what conditions? And especially as if people, you've known if you had opened up your home to people and you'd done nice things for people and it turned out to be um, not good experiences, you're like, would I be willing to do that again? Like, would I be willing to get kicked in the teeth again? And so no, we've actually been going through this heavily this week and making these plans for, okay, well, if this is where our heart is, this is where we're going to spend our money, and this is how we're gonna try to do this. So that's been heavily focus of us this week. So
Mm.
Not to keep on this too long, but it's interesting because I don't think, actually, I'm certain that there's nowhere in Australia we could move that would give us a leg up over where we are. You know, I don't know how that works in America, how you have such different economies and different sort of socioeconomic sort of different things in different states and stuff. I don't know how the heck that works, but in Australia, man, I could move anywhere and I'd be screwed still.
well, you could always see for yourself.
Yeah, I mean that'd be probably the only way, wouldn't it? Is moving over there. Yeah.
Come hither. Come hither.
And I'm constantly frothing over little ads that I see for homes in Norway and some of these Scandinavian countries sitting on lakes for like $100,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
5 acres, 3 bedroom, 150,000. Just mind blowing. Or you see something in Japan for $25,000. There's houses for $1 in Italy. Spend 50 grand on them. But I mean, all these things sound really good, but a lot of it is about putting yourself in a position where you can live in a different place, which means like financially, how are you going to position yourself? And so right now that like I'm thinking a lot about like how do I financially position myself or get myself in a situation where I could just be anywhere to do anything or work remotely and that type of thing so that I could be anywhere. Because right now I just don't see this country economically doing very well for a very long time. And I think it's going to get harder and harder and harder, despite the fact that I'm already in a very good position. The only thing that I've got that's difficult for me is right now, the only way I'm going to keep my head above water is by grinding myself into the absolute dirt. And I don't think that's a great way to spend the best years of my life. But every boomer will tell me I'm wrong, but I just don't know that that's the best way to spend. I feel like we got lied to by the boomers and by everyone. I just don't think it's the best way for me to spend the next 20 years of my life. But anyway.
I don't believe it is.
which
But
probably brings us to the next section. Section.
I was just
Oh.
as you start that, I was about to say, I feel like, and this will probably lead perfectly into what you're going to talk about. I feel like
Yeah.
Australia, in particular, especially in the past few years, I don't know what changed and when. I feel like Australia, in particular, is the nest that is being robbed, and America is happening too, for sure. But there's something going on here in Australia where we're getting screwed, and I like.
It's all of
I don't think
the
you
Great Britain colonies, dude. I
Yeah,
completely agree. It's
it's
England,
crazy, man.
Canada, Australia. Canada is
Ephraim.
the only country in the E7 that's literally down. Like it's actually it's trending down. It's the only one in the entire
Yeah.
E7 that's trending down. So like yeah, no, Canada's getting absolutely shredded. Australia is getting shredded and England is
I always thought Australia
Done.
was okay, but I think it's happened without kind of like behind the scenes and like where you haven't noticed, and all of a sudden, not you
almost
know what I
like
mean? Like
somebody's vexing
yeah,
Ephraim.
yeah. No, exactly. But it's like all the leaders like in on this like destruction of everything about the country, culture, money,
Yep.
like name it, you name it, every single thing slowly but surely is getting destroyed, and it's like we've always known it, but like it's become super obvious recently, and then you're in
Yep.
this like vat
Yep.
this hole that you can't do anything about it. Anyway, let's start Amin off on his rant because he's probably gone. Let me let me cook.
It's
All right, hang
true.
on.
Let me cook.
We've got to rant. Yeah, we've got to rant. Oh, it's the rant of the week.
Yeah. Rant of the week. Okay. While you're pulling that picture up, let me just preface this whole thing real quick by saying, preface this whole thing. If you can all see it, rant of the week. The concept is from society that we all just work until we die. Let me just preface this. Preface. It's a juxtaposition. Let me preface this by just saying
And prostrate myself.
I'm just going to prostrate myself while I explain this. I'm in a very good, sound financial position. It's all good. And so this might sound hypocritical of me to rant about this. But to be honest, I'm more ranting about this really for everybody else in my generation that's not in the position that I'm in, and everybody in the younger generations who will struggle to ever get into the position I'm currently in.
Who will never
Let
be in
alone-
the position. Yeah.
Never.
Basically,
Unless-
never.
unless-
How would you ever? Yeah.
I don't know. The only way I can think of is wealth transfer from elderly. Like, I don't know how else they do it.
And we're
So-
getting a total of 0 from our like we're
Yeah, it'd be a
inheriting
big
nothing.
Where it's robbing from the
Inheriting
nest,
debt.
and where, yeah, jeez. Anyway, so it's basically where we're at. Our generation, younger generations, are so stuck. Like it's so offensive to me how stuck they are, and I'm always whinging and complaining about how stuck they are, despite the fact that me personally, I'm in an okay position. And I'm very grateful for that, but it hurts my heart to see how badly everybody else is doing and how much they struggle. This is one of the reasons for this rant, right? It's not just a personal thing. Now, as far as just working yourself until you die, I remember I started a job about 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And when I got there, my boss goes to me, "Oh, you know, your job, you're probably a little bit too qualified for this job, but don't worry. The guy who's more senior than you, who sort of does a much bigger job for the whole company, he probably doesn't have a lot of time left, like before he retires. There's probably not much time left. And when he goes, you just step straight into his position." And I thought, oh, okay, that sounds good. As a younger fella, moving into a more senior position sounded like a good idea in the next couple of years. Anyway, 6 months later, that old fella just passed away, just basically just died on the job. And I just moved into the position, and it was like he never existed.
This is
I literally just, this is him. I literally just got to work as a young guy, looking up to this guy, looking up to everybody else, and I watched this guy just work until he literally died on the job. And then I just took his job seamlessly, moved into it, great, yay, great for me. And that guy just is an instant afterthought, like he's gone. He literally just worked until he died. He came in, he did his job all day. He was a grumpy old guy, super, super grumpy.
And
Everything,
no one will ever say his name ever again at work.
and never be
You know,
never be spoken of again. Someone in his family will remember him, and then they'll pass away, and then he'll be gone forever. And it's like he never existed. The work that he was doing, not important. It didn't save the world. It didn't change
Yeah.
anyone's life. And yet he spent his entire life grinding and grinding and grinding away doing it until he just ended up in the grave. Now, that doesn't seem to me like a really, really worthwhile way to spend your life. Now, I'm not saying that that's his fault. I'm just saying that the way that society conditions us is it conditions us that you got to grind and you got to earn, and then you just got to squeeze out a tiniest bit of retirement and then die. But what happens is, because of this ridiculous failure to transfer the wealth of all these boomers and the generations that went before us that just got absolutely gifted everything on a silver platter. I don't care who tries to contradict me on that. People will often say to me, yeah, but they work so hard. Of course, who doesn't work hard? Like, I don't know anyone that doesn't work hard, but everything cost less. They didn't have the interruptions. They didn't have the financial crises. They didn't have the 9/11s. They didn't have the Afghanistan war. They didn't have the GFC. They didn't have the stock market crashes. They didn't have a lot of the issues that we have. Money was cheap. Loans were cheap to an extent. Sometimes they're a bit more expensive, but everything was cheaper to purchase. Like we went into in a previous rant, houses were maybe a fifth or a sixth or an eighth or a tenth of the price that they are now, relative to the same earning power back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. So it doesn't matter how hard you work. Everybody can work the same type of job as hard as each other, and we will still come out the losers today. It's just the way it is. I remember 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I used to work for a company, and one time somebody accidentally scanned through an employment offer for a senior person in my company. Now, it would have only taken me 2 to 3 years, probably at that time, to get into that senior position if that's what I was going for. It wasn't a difficult job to get into. I remember looking at that job offer and seeing the person's salary, bonuses, and benefits, and I was blown away. Like, I could not believe how much money they were going to pay them. This is like 15 years ago, because back then that it was an insane amount of money. I'm telling you right now, this day and age, I'm in a role senior to that, and I'm not getting paid that amount of money that person was getting paid 15 years ago. And the dollar was worth way more 15 years ago than it is today. We are getting paid less. Our dollar goes a quarter of the distance that went 15 years ago. Salaries are not increasing with the value of everything else that's going up like crazy. Housing prices are an all-time high. The median house cost in Australia or in Perth is $1 million. The median average house that cost in WA is $1 million. If you had a look at the average salary, the average income of someone, it would hover just under $100,000, I would imagine. Which means it's like more than 10 times or more than 10 times your annual salary for an average home here. And I'm telling you, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, it would have been like 4 times, 5 times, maybe. Like, it's just so far out of reach. It's hard to fathom. And then that just brings back that point of, what are we even doing this for? Why have we gotten into this situation now where the economy is so stuffed and the older generations are so rich and everyone underneath them are so darn poor and cannot get ahead, that we are now, and we've been conditioned to go to school, get a job, work until you die. We're all trying to do that now, and we can't get ahead. We can't have a single income family anymore. How many single income families do you know? In WA anyway. Everybody works. Every couple is working. They're both working in some way, shape, or form. It's not easy to have a family anymore because of that. It's not easy to have a big family. It's not easy to... Anyway, life at the moment, and again, this is not just for me, this is for everyone else, is really, really tough. We were conditioned to work until we died. And for those of us that bought into that and started to do it, we've woken up at some point or another and realized that we are never going to get ahead. and we are never going to have the same type of lifestyle that the boomers before us had before they conditioned us into giving our lives up for nothing. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's what's crazy, man, is we spend more time at work than we do with our own families.
yeah.
You know, like, I mean, we spend more time working for other people and making sure that they succeed, do you know what I mean? Than we do making sure that our own family benefits at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, if you think about it that way, you know. Um, and I was just a couple of things I'm just thinking while you're talking. Like at my work, and I think my work is pretty, like, they strive to be pretty employee, like they want a good culture, as they call it. Like I'll only praise my company. I think they're a really good company, but
Good employment
but
value proposition.
there you go. But they call us, they still call the employees resources, right? Like we're resources, you know. An employee is a resource to get things done, right? Like, so how many resources do we need to do such and such? You know, that's what we all are at the end of the day, is a resource, you know. But here's the crazy one, and I've probably mentioned this before. I worked for a law firm a couple of years back, and they called, and once you see the insides of a law firm, man, you're like, geez, I don't want to have anything to do with the law firm ever again. But they call the lawyers earners. That's what they refer to their lawyers as in the law firm. They're earners, man, and that's like, they're like no name, no face earners. You know, get the earners on it. You know, I need a
Yep.
bill in every 6 minutes. You know, 10 billable entries an hour. You know, every 6 minutes you're billing, baby. Bring in that money. You know, and you're a no face, nobody earning money for a big entity until maybe 15, 20 years down the track, you might make it to some sort of associate or partner or whatever. It's just crazy. But this is us, man. This is us just grinding, as the picture shows, chained to a desk, wanting, just wishing we were dead. You know, working for the benefit of someone else. And again, like I said before, like all of this to amount to nothing, basically. It amounts to nothing. Like, what you end up with, money's irrelevant.
Yeah. Relevant.
Your worth is not your money. You know.
And even if you have a house, the way we work it, as soon as you die, your kids are selling it and getting the money. Like, so, like, even if you did invest in a home and had the stuff, it's not going to last. You have no roots.
No.
Yeah, our family home, like our family home's gone.
There's no
Gone,
heritage.
gone, man.
No.
Yeah, gone years ago, which was super sad too, to be honest. Like, you grow up in a house and you hope you'd be able to, that'd be your house that you go to every Christmas or whatever. Nah, gone. You know.
That happened to a lot of millennials too, by the way. Mine too. Seems like our parents sold and moved like to get the money at the end, and it was like, well, now I have no roots. Like, I have nothing tying me to anywhere. There's no heritage.
No.
There's no tradition. It's like we're just floating around, just completely detached from anything real. And this idea of more time at work than at home, and all these, and no heritage, no, like, by the way, this is our family cemetery where your grandpa was buried, and like it's on the property, and like it goes, we can trace back. We don't have any of that. And here's the crazy sad part about this, is that it doesn't have to be that way. And here's the even crazy sad part: the Latter-day Saints have been and are in a position better than probably any group of people on the planet to make it not this way. And we have no effort towards this at all, like towards the tower, towards this idea. Like, it doesn't have to be this way. The Amish prove that it doesn't have to be this way. But are you willing to give up TVs? Are you willing to give up your streaming services? Or, well, I don't think I have to. The boomers didn't have to. Well, it's like, okay, well, this is the conversation. One side's going to get angry, right? And it's like, it doesn't have to be that way. Like, if we're willing to sacrifice this stuff and live a certain way, like the Amish prove that it doesn't have to be this way. And it's crazy because the entire Amish family works together all day together. And they don't ever leave each other's side. It doesn't have to be that way. And here's the other side of it. It's like the other thing that the boomers had, because and it's like, I would say 50%. It's crazy. 50% every other boomer that I talked to had something that was handed to them by the greatest generation. Like they inherited a business, they inherited like the greatest generation was trying to build up their children, and it's really strange. Like there's these stories like if you get any kind of real hardworking European immigrants, like the oh my goodness, the girl who does the voice for Meg in Family Guy, and the guy from that
Mila
70s show.
Kunis
Yeah, Mila Kunis,
and Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher. Yeah. Well, her parents came from Eastern Europe, and when she talked about this, and you can look up the clips of it, and she was getting like teary talking about it. Whenever they go out to eat, with her immigrant family, her immigrant parents, they pay for dinner. Whenever they pay for stuff. They live in like $180,000, apparently. It's a really, really cheap, tiny like home. And they keep saying, like, look, we have money. We want to give it to you. And they're like, no, no. It's not about us. It's about trying to give everything we have to the children. And it's like that was the immigrants' philosophy. That was the greatest generation's philosophy. It died with the boomers. It
Yeah.
died with the boomers. This idea of everything I have, I am pumping into my kids, and I will die a pauper. Like I will die poor, but I will not. Everything is about building for the next generation. And you're saying like there's nothing when you're done. There's nothing left behind. It's like the Amish and people who live after this manner. It's like it's in the kids. It's in the property that the kids get to inherit. Right. It's after and working after the manner of happiness, which what's so sad about this image here is that even if you do this, and even if you survive, and even if you're above board, you're still not living after the manner of happiness. This is not what that is. The once again, go to the Book of Mormon, go to the Doctrine and Covenants, go to what Zion is, go to understanding it, and the Amish are closer to what that means than what we're getting at. It is about being one with the earth, one with our families, one with these things, which we're not doing. Which we so even if you do get ahead and you're living like this, you're still not going to be happy because you're not living after the manner of happiness. And I guess the last thing I'll say here is that this idea of working hard it really cuts me because I've always known this, but I really appreciated Hugh Nibley's Approaching Zion. I really appreciated that book because it brought out the doctrine, it brought out the scriptures, and reinforced this idea of that we constantly enforce this idea that like, well, somebody has more money because they simply worked harder. They had something because we worked harder. That's why we have this thing. We worked harder, and it's crazy because it's like that is literally an antichrist doctrine. Go to the Book of Mormon. Every man fares according to the genius of his character, of his and the strength of his being. Every man fares according to basically the creature, the best that they are. That's an antichrist doctrine. This idea that that the doctor is rich because he simply worked harder, but the tar roofer in the middle of May and 90-degree weather just doesn't work hard. It is, and Hugh Nibley goes over this. It has literally never been the case that the person who works the hardest is the most wealthy. It has never been that actual like that case. And Hugh Nibley goes into that, like where it's like, and it's like, well, how do you define work? And Hugh Nibley's like, if you sat there and you studied all day and you tried to learn languages and stuff, would people say you're a hard worker? No, no, they would just say, no, that's not hard work because you're not making money. And so what they equate hard work with is just simply the dollar amount. It's not actually hard work. It's just how much money are you making? Well, that's a hard worker. And it's like he never worked. He never worked. It's just they made a lot of money, and that's not the same thing. And it's never the way it's never the way it is. It's so this idea that like, oh, like the hardest workers make the most money. Sorry, it's just not actually factually true ever.
There's a lot of young women on the internet, like websites like OnlyFans at the moment, that are making like $1 million a month, and
There
they're
you
not
go.
working hard.
There you go. They're not a perfect
They'll tell you
example.
it's the easiest gig they've ever had, and they're making more than any medical professional will ever see in a year's work in a month.
And then we
So
gatekeep all this stuff, by the way. So then we also gatekeep all this stuff. So you make it so like in order to get these jobs, you have to get these certificates. You have to get these certain even in like jobs you wouldn't even think you would need to, all in a way to gatekeep to make sure other people can't do the job so that you can maintain your wages. It's all just a system of it has nothing to do with work. It's just so sad. Even with the boomers who had it easier, which we're gonna get, you can get into. Hey, it's
yeah,
not
as
about
far as
work.
as far as the gatekeeping, a really good example of that is we had this Canadian guy who had really good grades, but he didn't get accepted into a Canadian dental school because they only took something like 20 people a year for the country. It was like the whole country would take like 20 new intake people into his program a year or something, and he just could not hit the 20-person cut. Like it was a really small number. And so he came over and lived in Australia and just did dental school in Australia, piece of cake. And then once he was qualified, straight back over there to work and run a practice
Yep.
and make
Yep.
huge amounts of money because they were trying to gatekeep the roles and positions so they could have these ridiculous wages.
Which is crazy. It literally talks about that in the Book of Mormon too. That they began to
Mhm.
be distinguished by their chances for learning,
Yeah.
and that they would gatekeep it there too. So I'm saying it's always been the case. And here's this.
Oh, and also, just quickly, it wasn't because there was too many people doing the job either. As soon as he got the job, he knew a guy, and the guy had two practices. He's like, "Look, I'm currently flying between my two practices every week. As soon as you get qualified, come over here and you will run one of my practices for me.
Yeah.
Like I've got the practice set up, ready to go. I just need you so badly. Get qualified, fly over here, and help me not have to fly around the country every week." So sorry, carry on.
It's purely for the money. It's purely for the money.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing I'll say is I've been kind of bagging on my generation a bit here, but here's the boomer side. I forgot to mention that they have the means. A lot of these boomers right now have the means. Sell what you have, buy a place, put all your money in a small business. Like figure something out that you can invest in your family and roll the dice. Roll the dice on your kids. Buy a piece of property, move them all onto it. Like invest in some kind of small business. You have an electrician in the family. You have a plumber in the family. Invest in them. Create some kind of small business in them and invest in them and try to make a way for them to get out of this. But the thing is that you're just not gonna do it. You're just not gonna do it. So like once again, it's like you talk to this side and you say, "This is what you have to do." I'm sorry, this is what you have to do. And my generation is like, but I don't feel like I have to do that. I just don't have to do that. If you get on a religious side of it, they'll just say, "Well, I'll still find exaltation even if I don't." Right? I'll still find grace even if I don't, even though I haven't done all I can. And then the boomers is the same thing. Well, why don't you do this? Like you can do this. No, I'm good. And you know what? I'll still find exaltation even if I don't. And it's like, okay, okay. But that's why we still don't have Zion, and that's why we're under condemnation as a people. So it's okay. It's that simple. We've ranted about this so long that we like this has now become our own piece of art here.
It's actually
This
very
is
good.
it's actually really good. It's working out really well. All
Too
right,
old to work, too
let's
poor
let
to
Topher quickly
retire,
finish it.
too, too poor to die. Yeah.
That's also true in many cases
Mm.
too. Like a funeral costs too much for most people to afford anyway, so you just chuck them in the old, used
Ganges.
body heap, and yeah, or throw them in the Ganges River if you're in India, and be done with it. Yeah.
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 You have to literally get insurance to make sure that when you die, you're
Yeah. Yeah, you have
My
to
family isn't
you have to
screwed.
plan your own funeral. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Our grandma, man, she was like, I don't want a funeral. I'm donating my body to science. And so we never had a funeral for her. She refused to have one. And then I heard that they didn't even want her body because she was so old. She was like 94 when she died. So they just threw her body down the chute. You know, see you,
Yep.
Gran.
No funeral,
Yeah,
no body.
no funeral, no body, nothing. Got nothing remaining of her. See ya. Just throw her down the old used body part heap into the
It's
furnace.
just
You know, I don't know.
that's just insane to me that this is the way we're
Yeah.
living, and it's just we've made money our god. We've made capitalism our god so badly. Yep. Whatever.
I do. Before you finish it though, I really, really do. Like people are probably listening to this maybe even in an older generation where they're totally set up and thinking to themselves, well, what can I do for the younger generation? That's a really, really great point. Why not just roll the dice? Why not buy the property that you can have the family come to and do the chickens and make an orchard and see grandma and grandpa in a situation where culture and heritage is born and um, fostered and developed, and the kids can take over one day and they can continue to like till the earth and have animals and do all the. Why not roll those dice? Like, I better just stop there before I start making this more personal. But you know what I mean? Like, why not just roll the damn dice on doing something like that? If you've got the means to, and you're planning on just using as much of it as you can, and then just handing the rest off, splitting it all up or whatever. Why not just do something amazing that can really bless the
Mm.
lives of all your family members
And
instead? Why not just?
not to be mean, but here's something that you need to really think about because we're the religion that claims oh families can be together forever and all that stuff. We're the ones that preach all that. Here's the thing: when you die as a generation, if the world doesn't end, which it will, but like if you died, no one will remember you. No one will remember
Mm.
you. We had the moments where it's like that tree over there, I sat under that tree with my grandfather. I planted that tree with my grandfather. I went fishing in this very same creek with my grandfather. Like you had things like that your grandparents lived on long time after they died. When you die, your home will be sold immediately for money. That money will go to the kids and they'll spend it on new PlayStations. They'll spend it on frivolous, stupid stuff, and they will never think about you again. And here's the thing. As much as you don't want to say this, and I don't want to be mean, but it's like you think like, well, we'll all be together in the celestial kingdom, and it's like I don't. It's like this idea of like all being Zion together. It's someday, and this like this wave, this magic wand. It's like do you really believe that like even on just once again like I guess this magic wand thing we really just believe that grace is a magic wand. Do you really believe that your kids will then grandkids will want to be with you in the celestial kingdom? Like I'm not trying to be mean, but it's just like genuinely do you really believe that you could have rolled the dice, you could have helped them in their life, and the last 10, 20 years of your life all you thought about was yourself, and you think what, that they just can't wait to die and live in the eternities with you if such a thing were
Yeah.
even possible? Like they're not going to think about you, they're not going to think about you in heaven. Like there's going to be absolutely zero familiar ties to that anyway, so you're losing that anyway. I'm sorry. Like I just they're not going to want to be with you. It
Mm.
sounds harsh, but it's just true. It's just I already know millennials that have boomer parents and stuff that have died, and they're just like, honestly, they weren't really that much part of my life anyway. It's just it's sad that they're gone, but it's like they did everything they could to go on cruise trips and temple picks up until the very end, and it's like,
Mm.
It is interesting. It's like because like our parents love us, right? Like just speaking about mine and Emma's parents, they love us for sure. But I feel like they were far more hands off than I feel like I'll ever be with my kids. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like maybe they didn't have a choice. I don't know, but we didn't give them much of a choice. Maybe we run around being little hooligans, but um, I just, yeah, I hope and I can't imagine myself, and I hope I never do sort of lose that really close relationship with my kids. It probably happens to everyone. I don't know. But I'm in the frame of mind where I want to do everything for my kids, so I'm
I was
not
going
sure
to say
it's skipped a
that's the
generation.
difference. That seems like the difference all the time. What we're talking about in our marriage is how do we set ourselves up for our kids in the future? How do we get a
Mm,
bigger place that we have room for kids? Because there's no way they're going to afford their own home. So, how are we going to have room enough for kids? And when they get married, they've got some space, they've got some room because the economy's going downhill and it's all in the toilet. And how are we going to? Whereas with our parents and our parents' generation, it's like, get out of the house. Good
Even
luck.
the homeschooling, even
Yeah.
while you were still in the home, it was like good luck in the public
Yeah.
schools. Where it's like
Yeah.
now it's
Yeah.
like
Good
okay, let's
luck.
try to yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Good luck
yeah,
out there, guys. Good luck. Just you have to. Here's the key. You got to work really, really hard. See ya. All right, finally, we're empty. All right, let's do whatever the heck we want to do. We've got money, we've got space, we've got time. They're out of our hair. Let's go. It's crazy. It's like it just skipped that whole generation. That concept of just being so desperately dedicated to bringing up that next generation.
Yep.
I don't know.
One of the biggest appeals to Zion the New Jerusalem to me has always been, I've been honest about this, has been the idea of your children growing up as calves in the stall. And that's
Yes.
always been one of the biggest appeals where it's like, holy crap, you have this thing that if you can qualify for and get it, you can create that environment for your children. Like, can
Yep.
you, and it's been like, oh my goodness, that is something worth fighting for. And it's been this,
Yep.
once again, this idea of just like, man, to provide that for my children would be just awesome.
yeah.
Just
That's going to be like one of the main drives. Yeah.
That's the drive. Yeah. 100%.
save the kids.
Mm.
Yeah. Good rant.
Yeah, nice one. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Of the week. Yeah, yeah, la, 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 yeah, 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 yay!
Oh my gosh, those songs will keep bringing me back. All right, I this one will be fresh for me too. Which one do you want to read this?
I mean, I'll read it. I haven't read anything yet.
All right, let's go for it.
Comment of the week. So, is this all a comment, or is
This
this
is
a
all a
first ever
comment.
comment? It's all a comment. Okay, and an anonymous, I guess. Okay. In the destruction of Dagon's very temple, what better proof could there be that the power of Dagon was nothing? And yet, how much more powerfully could Samson have borne witness to the power of Jehovah if he had fulfilled his calling to overthrow the power of the Philistines? From the OT Institute Student Manual.
That's
Is
what
this
that was
from that?
from. Yeah.
Oh, that was from that. Okay. I think there is something more here that could be considered. Many are holding up our temple as the end all be all, and we know in church history that the Lord never saved the Nauvoo temple from being burnt to a crisp. However, the people going west received their endowment and kept those covenants to their death. So it would be very poetic for God to destroy the outward vestiges of his temples when the people who are supposed to be his aren't keeping the covenants they've made in them. Temples, it would seem, have become a kind of idol because the covenants meant to sanctify the people of God are being broken. It's interesting.
Ammon's done some really good insights on this with we are actually supposed to become the pillars in the temple. So like, yeah, like 100%. Like yeah, Amazon lot this insight often in the last 6 years that it's not
Mm.
the temple isn't the end all be all. We're supposed to be the end all to be all. We're supposed to become the temple, the pillars in the temple. Like it's supposed to be us, and it's supposed to be through sanctification and the keeping of the covenants. Like, but yeah, but do we end up like detaching it and be like, well, it's not me. I'm imperfect. I'll always be pathetic. I suck. It's but the temple is like super special. It's like the temple is supposed to be the mode or the place where we go and do these things, but it's ultimately supposed to be us that comes out as the pillars in the Lord's temple.
It makes
Yeah.
me wonder if this being the case, if we are kind of idolizing temples a bit, which seems to be obviously the case, and with the rapid pace that the church is focusing on and building them, like it's just like we thought, like back in the year 2000 with Gordon B. Hinckley, like he built a bunch of temples, and we thought, man, this is crazy. But the amount that we're releasing temples every year is wild, right? But it makes me wonder if the Lord will, and I'm sure we've discussed this many times before, but if the Lord will allow some temples to be destroyed, and just to see what the saints do and think and feel about that, you know, whether it will try their faith and things, because I have a feeling that most of the saints, and me, if I didn't like, if I wasn't with you guys and didn't think about these things all the time, I'd probably be one of them. If my temple got burnt down, I'd be like, what the heck? Like, why'd the Lord let that happen? Kind of deal. Do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be probably like a little faith trying or whatever. Like, you could see it being that way. At the same time, the point is he did let Nauvoo burn. You know, he has
Yeah.
let temples get destroyed in the past, you know, and maybe he does need to do that again, you know, even though the church, and the weird thing is that the church is so focused on them right now that they are like the huge push constantly. But what if he does? You know, what if he does go the opposite direction to sort of teach us a bit of a lesson, make us wise, make us, you know, realize, I don't know,
And maybe the
destroy
push
some
to
idols.
maybe the push to go to them and do them is because they're going to get shut down. Like because they will get destroyed because you're like we're taking them for granted. We're taking them for granted and we're not using them like we should be using them. And like the assumption is they'll always be there, and and not only that, there will be a constant growing number of them.
Mm.
And those are
Yeah, if that
assumptions.
phase ends, it'll be very interesting. Like we're used to that. The temples are constantly being built, constantly
Yep.
in use, constantly growing, constantly the focus, constantly. What if that changes in an instant?
Yep.
Mm.
Oh, and it could just change the tax codes just a little bit in the United States. It'll change instantly.
Mm.
That's exactly what happened in Kirtland and Nauvoo. So the Saints left those places and left the temples behind, and then the temples were Kirtland Temple was taken, and then later the Nauvoo Temple was destroyed by fire. And what I think in those situations, which if you look at them, you know, take a step back and then look at the situation as a whole, the Lord was directing his people out of those areas. So the Lord was leading his people away from them. Therefore, the temples no longer served a purpose. So there was no real need for the Lord to protect them or allow them to keep them or have anything to do with them, because the temples themselves are not important. You know, they're not holy places without the holy people. If there's no holy people, then temples are irrelevant. So may as well firebomb it, may as well lose it, may as well sell it, may as well whatever, which is probably one of the reasons why I feel so odd about the church spending $200 million to buy one back. You know what I mean? It feels odd to me. It feels really strange.
Which one was
The
that?
concept,
Which one was that again?
Kirtland.
Kirtland.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because if for the same value, we could go and build 10, 20 pocket-sized ones or whatever elsewhere to do way more work, because that Kirtland one actually doesn't do any work for the same value. I just find that really, really strange. But it's not me. Maybe there's a better purpose and I'm an idiot. But to me, it always comes down to people make the places upon which they stand holy when they are holy people. And right now and into the future in particular, when the Lord is leading his people out, when the Lord is gathering his people in, when the Lord is directing his people away from certain areas, that type of thing, or when his people in an area become wicked enough to a point where temples are polluted, you better believe that we're going to start seeing some of these Nauvoo, Kirtland related issues in our temples. There is no need for the Lord to protect a temple that's been desecrated. There's no need for the Lord to protect a temple where the people are not worthy. There's no need for the Lord to protect it when the people are supposed to have been gathered out. There might be some that stay, as there were in Nauvoo, as there were in Kirtland. But what need does the Lord have to protect those areas when the holy place is left? The holy place is the pillars. The holy place is the people. They're gone. They were supposed to go.
They
Who
went to
cares what
Pella.
happens to? They went to Pella. Doesn't matter what happens. Doesn't matter what happens with what got left behind. The Temple of Herod, not a single stone was left standing on top of another one. And the destruction in Jerusalem in AD 70 was so bad that pilgrims and shepherds that came in the post years didn't even know that a city was once sitting there. They didn't even realize it was a city. let alone Temple Mount. So
Mm.
we're in these times, and these times are coming. And when we're gathering out, just expect the temples to have these issues. But yeah, back to the original premise though is yes, people are holy, not places.
Oh,
Places get
interesting.
made holy by the right people.
Good point. Yeah, without the holy people.
And it's
No need.
Jesus. If Jesus shows up to a flaming bush, I'll bet you. Come on, if Jesus shows up in my house, talks to me, and sits in that worthless chair behind me, that chair all of a sudden has
Yeah,
immense
heirloom.
value to me.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that's a holy chair. And it's not because of the chair; it's because of what I know, who I know sat in it. It's the person, it's the people. Yeah.
And you must have, that probably nails the concept of why they spent 200 million on Kirtland Temple.
Yeah, they know who stood there.
They know who stood there. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe that can inspire people that go there and see it and feel and try and feel and realize what had happened there. Maybe that's the whole intent.
Mm. Yeah. Oh,
Good.
Good comment.
Great comment. Good comment.
If we don't like ask people if we can use their comment, we'll just make it anonymous. So like that.
Yeah.
So if people are like, well, all these anonymous people, it's like we're just too lazy to ask them. So we're just using it and be like, well, we'll just make it anonymous.
Questions. Baby's got a question.
Baby.
Have you got a question? Well, here's a place to get it answered. It's the question of the week.
Weak.
Do people even watch these? Says Topher. Yeah. That was somebody's answer to that question from Topher a couple weeks ago.
Baby's
Topher,
got a...
yeah.
Looks like Maggie's the baby who's got a question.
Baby's got a question.
Yeah. So
in the most appropriate way.
Yes, she was in a temple session, and there was a part discussing chastity, and it says that we shouldn't have sexual relations with those you are not married to, according to God's laws. In my mind, I thought if they are talking about monogamy, wouldn't they say to whom you are married to? Has anyone else noticed this or pondered on this, or am I reading too deep into it? Any thoughts? Please share. So, do you two have any thoughts on this?
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
do.
because it says, yeah. Well, go on. I hear that.
No, you're on the right track. Keep going.
I'm just thinking about the semantics of the wording, but I'm just trying to remember. Like our temple's been shut for a year here, so we haven't actually been for a while. So but it does say to whom you are not legally and lawfully wed, but it must say according to God's law. So I can't even remember, right?
I think it was part of the changes.
Right. So is the point here that it mentions God's laws? Is that the point, or is it
Versus just
on?
Yeah, versus it's no longer, I believe, just legally and lawfully married. So now it's like married according to God's law. And
Yeah.
I think there should be an obvious one right out of the bat with that one, because it's like, well, legally and lawfully married now.
Yeah, it's not God's law at all anymore, is it really? Like, 'cause
Yeah.
you can be gay and be married now. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah, so
Mhm.
yeah,
And then who knows how far that opens and expands and goes wild as well. And then it also brings, to be honest, they might not have even done this for this purpose at this point in time, but what if the celestial law, if you have a look at Doctrine and Covenants, you have a look at our early church history, you have a look at the Old Testament, you have a look at the Book of Mormon, you have a look at the scriptures, obviously the way that we've lived marriage in the church has had changes. So
Yep.
I guess it's also easier to just say, like, if God's law allows it, then it's not an issue to have sexual relations with, those that you're married to according to his laws, which could be more than one person, depending on the time of history that you've lived in and where you've lived and all that sort of stuff. So I think it keeps that door open. I think it teaches an important principle that we got to just follow God's law. Like it or lump it, it is what it is.
Yeah, because God's law over encompasses, right? God's law allows monogamy, but also allows polygamy, right?
Yeah.
Or celestial marriage, whatever. Whereas man's law allows all sorts of nonsense. So God's law encompasses, allows for the
Nonsense.
A man might be able to soon marry his own toaster, as it were.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting question. Interesting.
Ammon's been with this toaster long enough at this point in time that he's
He's basically
real
in a
pretty.
de facto man and wife relationship.
basically
Starts to
common
manage
law, as they say over here. I mean, it's basically
Yeah.
common law.
If he was to get a new toaster,
Yeah.
his old one gets half of his net worth.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's why I'll never part with my old toaster. It's going to get half in the breakup. It'll probably take the kids.
It'll take the kids too. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
It took my dog.
It took my dog. My toaster took my dog.
I married it.
Uh,
Because apparently that's legal.
Yeah.
all right. Everyone's favorite part.
The week.
Channel 3! Channel 3, brother! Headlines. With your anchors, Tofa, Micah, and Evan. Get your week's headlines. Channel 3.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
That
Channel
is
3 brothers.
disgustingly
You know
good.
With your anchors, Tofa.
Over.
Tofa.
All right. Who's doing this?
I can read
Am
it
I
if you
doing it?
want.
Oh, I can do it. I think you did it
Yep,
last week. I'll do
yep.
it.
Go for it.
All right. This week's headlines coming from the three brother anchor, Channel 3 Brothers News, whatever. Okay, number one. Okay, scandal over stolen Lego in Utah. Give it back. You're making Mormons look bad, and that's already a competitive field. Now, I actually even Googled this, and I was struggling to actually find. Do you guys know this story, like in a
Yeah.
concise way? Because I was struggling to actually find the actual specific details. But I saw streamers talking about it, being like, the only thing I've ever heard of Mormons is this. So it's like not
Yep.
a great thing. So what happened? I don't.
Basically, what happened is a very old dying man in his 80s who had one of the largest Star Wars Lego collections in the world, largest and most rarest collections, valued around $200,000. He's basically on his deathbed, and his family decided, in order to pay the medical bills and to get back on track, we're going to consign his Lego collection to a company called Bricks and Minifigs, which is a chain in the United States. So they consigned it to this store in Seattle, I believe. Anyway, after they consigned it to the store, headquarters then fired the owners or removed the owners or sold the business of that franchise and put new owners in. And then the new owners basically just kept the Lego, and it all went hush hush, and basically like nothing ever happened. It never got. They didn't know if it got sold. They didn't know if there was any money. They never got it back. It was basically in limbo. And so the son of the elderly father, who was very sick, basically went out there saying, "Hey guys, I think these guys have stolen it. They're not getting back to me. I need some help." And a young fella, who I think his name is Reckless something he calls himself. Anyway, he started doing some investigative journalism on it and tried to blow the lid on it, and it was crazy. Basically, it turned out that these new owners were in cahoots with the local police in Utah, and there's all this video cam footage and police cam footage of them arresting the kid who's doing the investigative journalism. saying all sorts of dodgy stuff about where the Lego is and why they're not giving it back. Head office got involved and it got really shady. This whole time, by the way, they could have just given the Lego back, but they didn't. And then they even sent a
Turns out it was all sold.
Oh, it turns out it was sold. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, so maybe you don't know the latest information. Yeah, headquarters fired the 2 people, so and came out and said that there's no Legos anymore. There's only like $5,000 of them left, and
Which
That's crazy.
who in this were Mormon? Where's
the new
basically
owners.
and the guy from corporate. So like the guy who was working above him. So like basically the franchise owner and the guy from corporate maintaining his relationship with that franchise. Both of them were Latter-day Saints. And not only that, like they were companions on a mission.
Yeah.
So they knew each other. Like they also were.
And so these guys were complicit in the hushing and the selling and the
Yes.
like.
And the police were involved. And the police were like, what do you guys want us to do? They're like, well, come up with some charges. Like, charge him for whatever. Throw him in jail. Like, they arrested this kid a couple of times on bogus nothing. And they've got all this video footage of them like, what do you want us to do, Bert? And he's like, I don't know. Get him for trespass. Get him for anything. Like, throw the book at him. Throw him in jail. And they were. And then they sent a cease and desist letter to Patreon because this reckless kid who's doing the journalism, he's making money on Patreon. And the guy from Patreon, the guy who owns Patreon, did a live stream and is like, I just really see this cease and desist letter. And guess what? You can go and get stuffed. I'm not doing it. I'm leaving his Patreon open and available. And you can see me in court if you want to. It was amazing. Like, it's gone pretty crazy, man. And it makes us, like, to the point of this news headline, it makes us look really stupid. You really want to make us look stupid? You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
And Mormons going out there and stealing things and being idiots, great way for us all to look like idiots.
Which it's only worth 200 grand too, which is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but 200 grand,
millions is being lost over this. This reputational damage is going to cost them millions.
Yeah. Good job, guys. Thanks. 200 grand's worth of thing, and you're just absolutely destroying everything. You know,
Micah,
corporate's just fired him.
I could be wrong, but isn't there like 300 of these stores in the US? Like, isn't it a pretty big franchise?
It's big enough. I wouldn't know the number, but it's I mean, it's a big franchise. Like, it's
yeah. So the damage that this is doing is more than 200 grand.
You should get. What do you reckon? I reckon you should. Should you get excommunicated for this sort of nonsense?
Of course, you should. It's crazy.
It's financial. We just don't care, though. We just don't care.
That's the funny thing. Yeah.
You know, it's just like, you know,
lie, cheat, steal, take advantage of your brother.
There's no harm in this.
No harm in this.
But you know, or lust after Babylon. Like that kind of lusting, but like lusting after the flesh, it's like, oh my goodness.
Make a chastity error and you're excommunicated.
Fried.
Lie, and no one will ever look at you again. Yeah.
Slap on the wrist. You're right. Take the sacrament next week. You'll be fine. Yeah.
This looked really bad, like, honest, because this guy, I think, worked with the young men in the church. I'm pretty sure he did, or something. Or was a bishop or something. And there was a young man in his ward that got wind of all this and went over in church clothes to this guy's house, this brother's house, and wanted to, like, confront him and be like, I just wanted to talk to brother. And he showed up on the door, and the cops were immediately there and threatened to arrest this guy from the church. And this kid was like, what's going on? He's like, you shouldn't be here. And he's like, I'm here to see Brother Johnson or whatever his name is. And he's like, yeah, he doesn't want to see you. And he's like, I'm a young man, like, belonging to his organization in his church, and I just want to talk to him. And he's like, yeah, no, you can't talk to him. And he's like, why do you want to talk to him? And he's like, well, I'm seeing this stuff online, and there's actual videos of Brother Johnson swearing on the Mormon God, swearing on his God that he'll be honest and return these Legos and pay for this, and he's not doing this. And he's making us look bad, and I just want to be like, to talk to him, be like, Brother Johnson, you got to repent of this. Like, we got to come clean. And the cop was like, well, if you don't leave right now, we're going to arrest you. And he's like, okay. So then this kid gets taken away. So, like, this doesn't look good. I mean, this looks awful, and it's bad. And there are there are millions of views now on this. People who know nothing about Mormons other than, you know, the Mormon musical. And they have very bad taste in their mouth about us over this because we look like some kind of weird cult, mafia right now, with the cops protecting our people. And then our response
300.
from yeah, and our response from the apologetics and priest crafters is basically just to laugh at this, to just be like, well, what's the big deal? Like, it's not all Mormons. Like, okay, I get these guys did something bad, but like, what does that have to do with us? Like, why does that matter? And it's like, why should church respond to this? And it's like, you do realize that we have a precedent for this. It's called Islam. And when one or two members of Islam blow themselves up, you know what we'd really appreciate is if there was the head leaders of Islam that would come out and say, "We disavow this. We don't
Yeah,
like."
don't
But
do
what?
this.
Don't do this. But then they say, "Well, not all Islam, not all Muslims, not yeah." Okay, so can you just say that? Can you just come out and
Just say
say
it,
we
yeah.
could? Can you? No, we refuse to because that supports Islamophobia. And it's like that doesn't work. So I get that it's a not all Latter-day Saints situation, but this is a situation when the church should come out ahead of time and say, we as an organization and as saints of God stand for honesty, truth, for you know, none of this shenanigans. If it's taking place, they don't have to take sides. They can at least just come out and be like, if this happened, like, this is not appropriate. We don't stand for this, and we definitely don't use the police to cover up our crimes. You know, so
Definitely. And
So no,
there's a more
something they
recent,
should
there's a
say.
more recent precedent to that as well, Micah. Very recently, with the takeoff of some shows in America and elsewhere about like Mormons on TV, like this, the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and stuff
Oh,
like
yep.
that. The church came out and issued a statement. They're like, if you see, I can't remember what the statement said because I'm not interested in that stuff, but it said something like, you know, we need to be careful about the way the church is being portrayed in the media and stuff like that. And we don't encourage, you know, people not living after the manner of our principles and stuff like that, and then showing themselves online and not encouraging members to view it and stuff like
Yep.
that. So
Yep.
if the church is comfortable coming out and being like, hey guys, we're being portrayed here as bad, horrible people, we just want to encourage you to stay away from that stuff and not act like it and not be those guys, then why couldn't they do it with something like this? Hey, these guys are apparently in cahoots with business,
Yep.
police, the law. There's lying, there's swindling, there's cheating, there's bad business practice. We disavow all of that stuff. We are for treating each other openly, honestly, and fairly, and the law with respect, but not using the law to our advantage, you know, in an unfair and unjust manner.
And
Of
we've
course we could do that.
contacted the stake presidents, and we've asked them just to conduct interviews, just to make sure everything's above board, just make sure everything's okay, because we know that the church will contact, you know, stake presidents and
Media.
bishops, and be like, hey, you should go talk to this person over nothing. Literally nothing. We know they do this over nothing. So you think that the church could say that about, you know, something as big as this?
Yeah. Swindling a dying man out of $200,000 with using corruption in police and law and lawfare and
Yeah.
all sorts. It goes on and on and on.
No, we'll get Nick
But,
Shirley onto it.
But they probably won't even get a call from their stake president.
Oh my gosh, what was the guy that we always had the name for that worked for churches? That old. Oh, what was his name? Gosh, we need to get
Ben Owen? Ben Owens?
Ben Owens. Is that right?
Was it
Hey.
Tom
Hang on.
Owen? Tom Owen?
Oh,
Tommy Owens.
Tommy Owens. That's it. I think that's it. Tommy Owens.
Do you reckon-
Get him on the horn.
By the way, just out of a matter of hilarity, we should find out if they still use the excuse of a Tommy Owens at headquarters.
Yeah, we should throw that out there. See if it catches anything.
See if anyone calls up church headquarters in the next couple of weeks and asks if there's a Tommy Owen. I'd just be very
Please.
curious to see if this fake Tommy Owen is still around.
Yeah, we'd love to know. Tommy Owens. That's
Yeah,
telling
right.
everyone
Come
you don't
every
have to
week
follow the
next week.
prophet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old
All right,
Tommy
well,
Owens.
far out. That was a good number one. Number two. Strickland, who is a UFC fighter, for those who are uninitiated, not invited to White House. There's a fight at the White House, a UFC fight at the White House scheduled. Netanyahu, who is he's the Prime Minister of Israel, President,
Prime Minister.
is more. So Strickland not invited to the White House. Netanyahu is more American, apparently. So America, where fighting for your country gets you less credit than bombing for it. So basically, I did say this one. So Strickland, he posted a tweet. The tweet was something like, do you know the tweet off the top of your head?
He's had about 1 million. He's got a lot.
Yeah, I don't know how you narrow it down to one.
I literally don't know. It's basically it's a history of not liking old Ben.
And I got to tell you, I love Strickland. Like, not only has he just become the champ, but I like he's very conservative, very sort of just says as it is. Like, he's not even because usually celebrities, sports personalities, all these things are really toe the line sort of dudes.
Yeah,
he's not like that at all, and I love it. And he doesn't care, and he'll just punch you if he doesn't care. He's like, what have I got to lose? Like, I'll just whatever. Like, I don't care. He's doesn't care about money. He doesn't care about anything, whatever. So I love that about him. And so so he's been told he's not allowed to go to the UFC fight at the White House, and he's the most recent UFC champ, I believe, which is crazy. So he should be there. And Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, because he's going to be there, and because Strickland is critical of Israel and Trump at the moment, so they're not letting him go, which is crazy. But what that says is what we've always been saying. Like, it sort of doesn't that just prove what we've always been saying, that Israel has its talons way deeper into America than we're led to believe, I suppose.
And Trump is a thin-skinned hypocrite because there's also thin-skinned hypocrite puppet at this point. Because I'll tell you what, when the football teams or the basketball teams or the hockey team, the female hockey team, refused when they refused to go to the White House, Trump was mocking them. Oh, these people, so thin-skinned, they can't even come see their president. Mocking them. And now Strickland's like, hey, can I show up? And Trump's like, no. It's so funny because like Trump has now put himself in a position where he used to be our pit bull, attacking the mainstream media and attacking all these things that we all hated, and now it's like Trump week 1 is literally able to mock and fight Trump week 2. Like, he's become the meme where you could get Trump and have one Trump talking on the left and one Trump talking on the right, and they're debating each other. Like, that's literally where Trump has gotten, where he's talking out both sides of his mouth so much that it's. And I'm telling you, I love the guy. I was one of the people that bought one of the very first MAGA hats. I'm telling you, like, so this idea, but it's like, I'm telling you, it's just getting so. It's unbearable now for me. Like, 1 week and it's just like mocking the female gold medal winners because they're too thin-skinned to go to the White House, and the very next week it's like, hey, I'm the literal UFC champion. Yeah, I'm now too thin-skinned for you to be here. It's like just like the blatant hypocrisy and just low IQ behavior, and people be defending it. It's just like, oh my gosh.
I'm going to be interested to see the reception that Netanyahu gets at the UFC. Like, I don't know.
It will not be good. They will boo him.
I can't imagine it being. Yeah, that's what I'm I expect that, but I'm interested to see.
There's no way that they can vet these guys enough. There's no way they'd be able to vet them enough. Because I mean, these are UFC fans. No offense to you two, but are typically not a great bunch of people. So like them lying to get into this event to boo Netanyahu is not below them.
Unfortunately, there won't be very many regular people in attendance.
It's like Dana a jury pre-selected.
Yeah, Dana White was saying that Dana White owns the UFC, and he was saying that he only gets something like 60 seats or 50 seats or something.
Oh.
And that's for the UFC side of things. Then the other side of things, I think Trump gets like a couple hundred. It's going to be a very small event.
So Trump invites everyone.
He's literally handpicked them. And so here's the funny thing about this, right? Like you were saying, the hypocrisy. There's going to be fake MAGA rhino retards that listen to this and go, "Oh no, it's a good thing. We don't need a Strickland there. That's we got to protect Bibi Netanyahu, whatever, and we have to stifle that kind of speech." Wasn't it Trump who just a couple of years ago was banned off Twitter and Facebook and every single social media platform to the point where he couldn't use his big fat fingers and tell the world stupid dumb things and we raged about it. Me personally, I was furious about it because I believe in a world where even if you say something unpopular, you still have a right to say it. As long as you're not trying to hurt someone with it, you should be able to say your opinion.
Incite violence,
correct. And someone like Trump, who, a lot of people were interested to hear what he had to say and had so much influence over the world, it wasn't fair that you get an extremist Muslim imam on Twitter calling for death of people. And then you couldn't have Trump on there saying things like "God bless America." So that really infuriated me. Now,
and build a wall. Remember that?
Correct. Now here we are, a couple of years later, and all of a sudden, where are all you people who are the same as us saying definitely shouldn't stop free speech? Should definitely let Trump say what he wants to say. Now, where are all of you right now? Is my question. When Strickland's out here being critical of Israel, and in particular, not so much the country, but the leadership of Israel, when he's being critical of them, where are you now standing up for Sean Strickland, being willing to say what he wants to say? Because you better carry that same energy that you said that you had in 2020 and 2021 into today. If not, you are a massive, raging hypocrite. Super hypocrite. Now, I haven't even told you my thoughts on this Strickland Netanyahu Israel thing, and I'm not going to because it's irrelevant. I have thoughts on them, but they don't matter. My only concern here is that he's saying his opinion, and as a UFC champion who should be at the event, he has not only not been invited, he's been banned from the event.
Yeah.
That's crazy, hideous. One of their biggest superstars banned from his own sporting event. Now that is stifling free speech. That's not just like, oh no, we don't have the resources for you to push the keys on Twitter today. Try again tomorrow. It's like, no, we've banned you from Twitter. It's exactly the same as what happened to Trump. They got all you so-called conservatives and MAGA idiots so riled up all those years ago, just like me. All I'm saying is don't be the world's biggest hypocrite and carry that same energy into 2026 to come to the aid of people like Sean Strickland, because it's exactly the same thing. Don't be a hypocrite.
Yep.
He's pretty
Crazy.
American. He's pretty American. Like, you don't like him, but like Sean Strickland is pretty pro-America. And yeah.
He bleeds red, white, and blue. That guy.
In fact, isn't that what he's known as? Like the American fighter? Like isn't that his stick?
That's him. His shtick is the all-American guy.
Yeah.
Captain America. Yeah.
We love it. It's great.
Yeah.
All right, carry on.
All right, number 3, into more unfortunate news. 73 million children are aborted per year worldwide. That is 2 Canadas. But don't worry, Canada already apologized. Oh, that's wild, dude. That is such unfathomable numbers.
Yep.
Like, you can't even comprehend. Like 73 million. Like, how many abortions is that a day? Like, what the heck? It's disgusting, honestly.
We are living, and this is what we talk about, where people are like, oh, the world's going to go on for another couple hundred years, or even just another decade. It's like, if the world continues like this for another decade, like genuinely, and I don't mean this sarcastically, like, stop going to church. There is no God. Like, I like at this point in time, it's like, because just like Brother Hymandris said, he's going to owe Sodom and Gomorrah an apology. He's going to owe the civilizations in the past that he burned to little crisps an apology, because the world has never seen the levels of depravity and evil that it's allowing right now. Like, murdering 73, like, ball is like fed. Okay. This has never happen before. This is just the level of evil that we're witnessing on, God forbid we mention capitalism, but God forbid the economic situations in the world. God forbid we mention the murders going on in the world. God forbid we mention the genocides being committed by God's holy people, chosen people. God forbid that we mention the 73 million kids that are butchered every year. Like, this is the worst it has ever been. This is evil. And if God doesn't come out and stop this, like he said he's going to stop these things when they reach these levels, um, you need to start questioning things. You need to start questioning things because
it must pain him. Hey, like, I mean, it pains me to no end to think about it. It must be brutal for Heavenly Father to watch this happen. And particularly, like, if there's anyone who's watching this right now and you're okay with abortion, I think you've got to get your head checked. And I don't expect that to be the case, but you got to be flipping crazy to be okay with it. Because, and also, I suggest you look at how brutal an abortion actually is. It's a terrible, terrible thing to happen to a baby.
to a human,
anyway,
to anybody.
anyway,
Like,
it's
if
crazy,
you did an abortion to me, it would, like, you'd be like, what the heck? Like, it's worse than Braveheart, ripping me off limb by limb,
my piece. Yeah,
piece by piece, and then crushing my skull, like,
yeah.
like brutal.
Brutal. And I can't believe that people are okay to do it, and I can't believe that there are doctors that have no conscience in doing it either. Like, I can't believe
It's-
people can do it.
It gets even worse than that. There's reports from
Yeah.
people within Planned Parenthood that say that they actually harvest pieces of them for
Organs.
various purposes.
Oh,
All
yeah.
the
They
stem
harvest them.
cell stuff. Yeah.
Stem cell stuff, organs for money,
And they get paid. That's the thing, right? So again,
and
it
they
goes down
get
to money.
paid, and they're
All the
earning.
game.
So it's actually even worse than just thinking about them being completely obliterated, but
So
they're
sad,
actually
man. So
harvesting them in a way.
But and to go to Micah's point about Baal, right? Molech. This isn't it interesting? This has been happening since the dawn of time.
Yep.
We've been sacrificing children to gods in different ways, different manners, different purposes, whatever.
To better our life.
Yeah. And it's happening on a scale now unheard. I mean, these numbers are unprecedented, unheard of, right? This is crazy.
And what are
numbers.
we all uncovering at the absolute
The
top
selfishness.
of the absolute top of every industry right now is the trafficking and sacrifice of young humans.
Yep, children.
And and to bring it all straight back to this whole disclosure thing, like freedom of speech and disclosure, and we need to hold people accountable and all that sort of stuff. Guess what your current president is doing? He is sweeping the biggest child trafficking and potentially biggest cases of human sacrifice and all that kind of garbage and sweeping it straight under the rug. And the reports that have come back is of him saying things like, allegedly, I can't prosecute because some of my friends will be involved. I can't prosecute because of this and that and the other. And anyway, it pains me to know. Now to come back quickly to this abortion thing before we move on real quick, 73 million a year. Everyone who has a debate about abortion and stands for abortion always say the exact same thing to be in favor of abortion, which is, what about, and it's always the what about the absolute minority of people that fall pregnant due to, like, incestual relationships or rape or some other similar horrific experience where they involuntarily found themselves pregnant. Now,
Those
of
are the
that
exceptions.
70,
They're tiny.
that's correct. So of the 73 million people that were aborted each year, what percentage of those would fall into that category? And I would say, and we could double check the figures. Someone out there, you can double check the figures, but it's probably something like, oh, there you go. Oh, so 73 million a year is 200,000 babies aborted every single day.
I
But of that
can't believe how is that even happening that
'Cause
many?
people- Because people go to them like they're just seeing a doctor for the flu. That's why. But of those 73 million, how many of those, what percentage of those would have been those absolute minorities? And it probably works out to be, I don't know, let's say it's 1%. 2%?
It's small. It's a very small percent. I know they've talked about it. Remember Charlie Kirk would talk about it. It's a
It was
very
over
small
98%.
So they always use this-
98% are not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they
so
always use
2
that as an excuse.
2%.
Or what about this? What about that? And it's like, mate, that's the tiny exception. What about it's just
isn't
a
that
million people who are selfish?
so? Isn't it interesting when you actually look at the numbers? So what is 2% out of the 73 million? 10% would be 7.3. So it would be that would be way less
It's
than that.
1.4 million,
There you
1.46
go.
million is what
So
that would be.
every-
So if you allowed only
Yeah.
rape and incest, yeah, that would be 1.5 million still worldwide abortions.
So 72 odd million selfish people, basically.
So what it really comes back to is there's a reason why we have to have general protections in place when 98% of these problems can be and ought to be avoided.
And that's 2%, by the way. 2% is the high end. So
Yeah,
like it obviously that's generously
the max. Yeah.
at
It's a lifestyle.
most.
It's a lifestyle choice, is what they're doing. It's a
Yeah.
it's a lifestyle choice now, rather than
Yeah.
a health thing or a.
We joke about it now, though. We joke about it now. Like we really
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
We joke. Go to TikTok. Like, would you punch me for $1 million? Oh, honey, I'd put you in a coma. If you push this button and you knew that somebody around the world would die, but you'd get $1 million, and people are like, beep, 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 pushing the button. It's like we joke about this, like human life versus our standard of living or money. It's like, nah, I don't care. I'll hurt you. I'll kill you. I don't care.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so I think
How
that
we'll tread on others for
Yeah.
a bit of gain. Yeah.
and so you're like, I just don't think they understand the brutality of it. I think we've gotten so hardened. I don't think they care. I really
Yeah,
don't.
And if you want to put it out of your mind, I mean, it's easy to put it out of your mind if you don't understand what an abortion is, and you think it's just like a tiny little fetus this big passing through with no whatever, it never grew at all. It's most of the time it ain't like that, mate. You know, like I don't think people understand what they're even talking about. That's the problem. You don't understand how brutal
Or how
it is.
fast babies grow.
Not to
Yes.
mention, they've changed in a lot of areas. They were changing laws to
You can
allow
have abortion
abortion
to the birth date.
to the day it
Yeah.
was born.
Which is
And
what the heck?
I think there was even something silly about it being slightly after that as well, but maybe I'm crazy. But anyway, it was at least
I've
up till
heard some terrible stories where that might be the case, where they just
Yeah.
leave freshly born babies and they just leave them
On
They're
the
not allowed to
table
kill
and
them.
walk away. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I would go in there and murder every doctor in the place if I knew that was happening to me. Anyway,
allegedly.
Alleg-
allegedly do that, and they allegedly do that, and I would, yeah.
He wouldn't
Anyway,
really do it.
no,
He'd allegedly.
I dream about doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
mhm,
Never actually had
mhm,
the dream, but
Mhm,
you can imagine
yeah,
What-
yeah.
what it would be like if he dreamed like that.
Mm. But number four
Yep.
here, number four. I mean, let's go into this because this ties in a similar sort of notion, right? So if we're talking about God and things.
Mm-hmm.
So number four, Pride Month.
Mm,
Pride,
yep.
mhm, mhm.
Pride.
Pride Month. Will God come in vengeance or will we survive the month? Tune in next month to find out. So let's see where we are in July.
Yes,
As fire and brimstone
Queen.
rain down. As fire and brimstone rain down upon so what is it, LA, San Francisco, whatever, all the major cities, or are we just going to tolerate it further?
Israel, Jerusalem.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, man. I don't know. Like, I mean, we're certainly
Oh,
at
wait,
the
Tel
point
Aviv?
where.
Anyway,
Oh yeah, Tel Aviv. Yeah, yeah. I'll say here's the thing. We've talked about this many times as well, and I'd say we're certainly at the point. We have to certainly be at the point where we're on at least the same par as what Sodom and Gomorrah. Like we accept what they did, like or more, right? As what Sodom and Gomorrah were doing. The only difference that there might be is that we're not doing it in the streets openly, but we are celebrating it super openly, and everyone is super openly. I just, and so I don't know, if we're not over the line, we're like dancing on it right now. We're dancing on that line right now, like begging for fire and brimstone. You know what I mean? Like,
I saw
I
something
can't
funny the other day.
imagine.
Hey, you go.
I just can't imagine it being worse. And I also, you look at the numbers, and it's like ever since it started, it's like every generation, it was like, what part of the generation was identified as gay or on the spectrum or whatever the LGBT spectrum, and it's like 1%, 1%, and then it was like 4%, and then it was like 25%. Like it's something like 25% for Gen Z. It's something like
That's
25%.
crazy. That's crazy numbers.
You can look it up. It's like 20. It's crazy. It's like some 20, like one of four of them identify as something on that, and like
So fashionable as
it
well.
can't. It was never that. It was never that big of a deal. Like even with Sodom and Gomorrah, it just never was. And there's many people, Paglia, like liberal, like these aren't like hardcore rightists. Paglia is a leftist that did studies on this, that did on history, because she's a history major, English major, and it was like every civilization that enters this period collapses, and not just like, oh, a god
Yeah.
came in and did it, but just like no, just like it just happens because
Yeah.
the barbarians
armies.
natural, yeah, it just happens. And she's like, was like, we aren't like, oh, we're at this point in time with Rome. It's like, no, we're on borrowed time. Like, so when people are like, oh, like we're at this point in time where Rome's burning and we're in, it's like, no, like the historians are looking at this and they're like, how are we even still here? Like we should have been gone. Like that we should have already had our reckoning. We just, for some reason, God, it's just been delayed.
It's super. It is super self-destructive, right? It's a super self-destructive sort of mindset and culture. It's a really selfish.
The replacement rate, even just of births,
So you got none. You got no replacement going on.
you can't sustain
But
it.
it's just it's such a it's pride, right? Like that. It's so funny that they call it
Well-
pride, and it is a pride issue, and it's so self-destructive, so selfish. And it's of course it implodes. Of course it'll self-implode
Well,
and self-destruct.
What happened to those ancient cultures like ancient Rome is that you'd have like the Vandals, like these group of barbarians or whatever, come in and start to take over an empire that should never have been taken over by these, you know, wild men, so to speak. Isn't the exact same thing happening in all Western countries right now? Aren't they
Yeah,
all
with
being
Somalis.
completely
Yeah.
correct? Whatever they are, they've been completely overrun.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
To the point where they're losing their countries, they're losing their religion, they're losing their culture, they're losing their ways of life. They're not doing it by war necessarily, but they're still being invaded and infiltrated and having
Yeah.
everything that they knew, loved, appreciated, completely lost and changed. So
Because all your
it-
men are feminists and like
Yeah.
femboy, fem whatever, and then and out numbering all the other ones, and all the other men aren't allowed to say anything because the whole culture. So like most of the men are like effeminate and too scared to go near a gun anyway or whatever or defend themselves, and then the culture is so widespread that you're not allowed to do anything even if you disagree. So it's like, of course,
We just
anyone can come
become-
in and just absolutely have their way with us.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just become a passive nightmare where everything goes, including letting anyone into the country. And it's only until they've lost everything that they realized that they shouldn't have done it. And that's basically where we all are
Too
right
late.
now. And it's so
too
interesting
late.
that it's all those countries, it's all those predominantly like white Christian countries where the Lord has gone, hey, I have blessed you, Ephraim. Like
Yep.
Ephraim, you've been spread around the world. I have blessed you. You can
Yep.
have freedom of your religion. You can believe in me. You can raise your kids. Boomers, you've got it all handed onto you on a silver platter. Comes back to the boomers again. You've been given everything. Now build the tower. Now do all the right things with it. Spread out around the world. Build your stakes of Zion and get yourselves ready so that you can then gather everyone into the center place. And instead of that, they got themselves rich. They threw away the tower, they threw away the concept, and then they started allowing everything. Welcome in. Everyone, whatever you want to do it. I don't care. The hedge got collapsed, and all of a sudden the enemy came in and infiltrated and flattened it.
Yeah.
And now we're
Instead
just
of
waiting
that-
for the next step of the parable.
And we have 2 days a year dedicated to Jesus, Christmas and Easter, and a whole month dedicated to gays.
It's good. It's good. Really good.
And isn't it funny that also with those two holidays, you have to have money. It's all the capitalism. It's all materialism to participate in Easter and Christmas. But you know what you need to participate in Pride Month? Nothing. Just
Yeah.
get naked,
Actually,
have
yeah,
some
take your
fun, and
clothes
march
off.
down the street.
Less
Literally
clothes,
less.
things.
Literally
Yeah.
less. The poorest, most like participate in it. You're good to go. And so it's
man.
like it's
Come
more
one,
it's more
come all.
inclusive
Yeah.
in that regard.
Yeah.
I saw
Get
something
involved,
really
get
funny
involved. Yeah.
on social media. It was a lady posted this video and she's like, just in case you feel like you've been failing as a parent, at least you haven't taken your kids to a drag show.
Ouch. It gets worse.
It gets worse. It could be worse.
It could be worse. Cringe.
Yeah.
You'll like this last
Anyway.
one.
Oh, I like
Oh,
the
good.
first line.
All right.
Yep.
Good. Like the last one.
We had to
good
run
note?
through this a couple times through ChatGPT because it made the not woke side like a little too scandalous for our audience. A couple times, like a little too scandalous even for ChatGPT. I was like, "Woo! All right, well, can't use that one. Somebody's going to complain about that."
Oh, gold. All right, so number 5, Victoria's Secret drops woke, stocks soar. Turns out the secret to success was less lectures and more lace. So, okay, I actually
Yeah.
don't know the story. I can guess it from this, but is there what did they drop? What wokeness did they drop?
They must have been doing the whole DEI thing and going for full multiculturalism and body shapes and strange looking people and trying to be all inclusive and that type of thing. I'm just throwing it out there if that's the headline.
Yep.
And now they've just gone back to standard values of beauty, like an objectively beautiful woman. I'm guessing an objectively beautiful woman sells really well. I'm assuming they've just gone back to objectively beautiful women and dropped all the garbage.
Who's buying it? Like who's buying the this level of stuff? Well, women who obviously want to look good, and they don't know how this is going to look on them if they're looking at women that are much larger, don't look like them, and so they're going to these other sites, these other places, and so Victoria's Secret was getting crushed, and so then they're like, okay, no, we're not going to do that anymore. We are going to become the staple for like the most attractive women on the world again, because when we were growing up, man, it was. I mean, if you as a boy could get your hands on a Victoria's Secret magazine, man, boy, woo. I mean, good times.
Among the boys at school.
Well, I mean, we had our grading. It was definitely like Sears catalog. Was a little lower. I mean, that was like you're pretty bad. Pretty low. Up to Victoria's Secret, Fredericks of Hollywood. I mean, we had it all. I mean, that was it, but not anymore. I mean, now the little boys were not interested in.
So the exact same thing happened with Bud Light. So Bud Light, the whole thing was they got a transvestite, whatever you call them, trans person, to basically model their beer and be a spokesperson for their beer. And all the regular beer drinkers are like, wait, what? That doesn't represent me. That doesn't represent a Bud Light beer drinker. And so
I don't want to be seen with that beer in my hand and have people think that.
Yeah. And so then everybody went up in arms and went basically back to the business saying, hey, you got to change this. It doesn't represent me. And the lady who was running the marketing department is like, oh, we don't even want that demographic anymore. All those losers out there that have a problem, we don't even want them anymore. Their stock price tanked so hard. They lost probably in the billions, at least the hundreds of millions on that campaign. She got fired, of course. That transvestite never drank a beer again. It's just crazy. It's just people
fresh out of the left-leaning universities straight into marketing manager jobs and absolutely destroy these brands that have been around forever. Yeah.
And so obviously we don't buy Victoria's Secret. We don't drink Bud Light. But the
whoa,
concept is always,
speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself.
Micah might have something to say about the Victoria's Secret, but the concept being, it doesn't matter what they sell or what they do. The whole world decided that they were going to go so far towards this leftist concept of
I was modeling it,
inclusivity and all that sort of stuff, including Micah being a model for him, which absolutely tanked the company, by the way. So thank you very much. And they've realized the only way to bring it back is to actually just drop it all. Disney did the same thing, tanked them. Victoria's Secret now, Bud Light. All these businesses are trying to do it. What was that company? Jaguar did it.
I think it was Jaguar. I was going to mention Jaguar. They did the same thing.
Jaguar.
Like, what the heck is this trash? Yeah.
They sold 4 cars in Europe that year.
So this is good. So this is really, really good. Like, it's unfortunate they have to go through this stupid learning process, but the good news is that they do learn the hard way and come out on the other side. So they'll correct and they'll come out the hard way through that lesson, and they'll come out better. Annoying that they have to go through that, and they put us all through that, but it's good that they're learning
I'll tell
It
you
might
this
be
as well. The other good thing is that I think companies are realizing that despite the fact that they want to train people into what they want them to be and want them to buy, people can't be programmed as easily as they expected. So
Yeah,
the good
yeah.
news is, to me, at the end of the day, is most people are still fairly sane. Because if these programs had all worked and people had just dived in and spent more and done it, then every single company in the whole world would have gone completely to the left and completely woke. So I'm just super grateful
Yeah.
that we're not as brainwashed and crazy as these companies expected that we would be.
Yeah, because marketing's had an absolute dominant foothold on media and on
Culture,
everything, on our lives, on
society.
culture, our whole lives. Like they've been able to sway our tastes and our things in so many ways, like which drinks we drink and all those different
Yep.
things. But what's good is it turns out they can't affect our moral compasses like to
Not as
probably the
quickly
degree that
as
they
they wanted.
expected. Yeah, well,
not as
that's
quickly.
true.
quickly.
So,
Yeah.
Not as quickly.
mm.
Not you can't go from zero to woke and expect the entire population of the world to change fast enough for you to make enough money to make it worthwhile. They found that out the hard way. So
Yeah.
all they're gonna do is they're just gonna slide it in there slowly but surely now. So it's just gonna be death
Yeah.
by 1,000 cuts rather than the whole barrel.
Mm. Well,
So anyway, enjoy it while it lasts, boys.
good. I'm glad they learned the hard way. They deserve to have a massive loss.
They do.
I'm glad they should, and I'm glad. And but also learn and recorrect and good. Good.
Mhm.
Learn.
It might be
All right, so
might
that's
be
news.
one more. It might be an unpopular
Go on.
opinion here. It might be an unpopular opinion here, but like obviously I'm not for lust. Okay, I'm not for lust, but it might be an unpopular opinion here. But we need things to aspire to. Like my son actually in his free time now is starting to watch some Dragon Ball Z and now is already getting more psyched, more interested in working out. And I'm telling you, Goku did more to get men inspired to go to the gym and do push-ups than like anything. Like to work harder, be strong, train, like be the best version of you. And it's like I'm not it's good. Like not to lust after these women, but it is a good thing to have like this
I
idea.
can be better. I want to be.
I can be
wanna
better, yes.
I can be better. I'm not okay the way I am, a big fat piece of crap. I can be better.
Yeah. We need more of that because I would have put on less weight if there was more of that pressure on women and things in let's say my culture. But like it's like I would never go through these fluctuations.
We grew up like that our whole lives, though. Like wanting
Yes.
to be. I always wanted to be something, someone, some better, be better.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, the
Inspiring.
culture went, hang on, you are okay as a fat piece of crap, and stay as
Exactly.
you are. You're great. You're perfect. You're beautiful. It's like what? There's nothing wrong. It's actually really good to want to be better in many ways, not even just physical, but many ways.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm not trying to hurt
Yes.
your feelings. I'm not trying to hurt my
thing
feelings.
is-
It's like, but we can do better. And it's like it's crushing if you don't have those heroes.
You can love yourself. You can love who you are, but also want to improve. Both
Sure.
things
Yeah.
can exist at the same time. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that at all. So there's no need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You can love yourself. You can love the situation that brought you to this moment, but that doesn't mean that you also can't want to get healthier or look at someone as an example and be like, I want to be a bit more like that. My
Yes.
life might be
That's
a bit
what
easier.
like
I might
movie.
be
That's what
healthier.
movie stars' whole thing was for forever until recently, and they start putting really weird main characters in massive blockbuster movies where you're like, why are they the character that I'm looking at now in this position? Like I don't know, man. They're also going to learn the hard way. By the way, while we're on the topic, Hollywood is going to learn the hard way, and they already are. But boy,
Yeah.
They've been
some of these
been
movies
learning.
coming out. Yeah, and by the way, I'm a fat piece of crap. So I'm.
Yeah,
That's
Me too.
and I
Me
don't
too.
want to
So
stay that
yes.
way. Yeah.
And I
So,
don't either. So
yeah.
I like this. I like
Yeah.
looking at that and just going like, man, I would not like. I look at one group and I go, oh yeah, I'd feel comfortable around that group. But I look at this group, and and you go, I wouldn't feel comfortable around those women. But whatever, and it's like, I want to be better. Like I want more things around me that are inspiring and less
Yeah.
things that are just deflating.
Yeah, and again, physical attributes are only one part of that whole thing.
One
There's so
part.
much else.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Satire, sarcasm, spiritual something or other. We report, you decide.
Yep.
Three
You
Brothers
decide.
News.
You decide.
Galaxy News Radio.
Oh, spiritual whiplash. We report, you decide.
Channel
The
3
Three
brothers.
Channel 3 Brothers. The Nazi war machine rolls on. Okay, all right.
We're not the Nazi war machine.
Come on, let's get spiritual. Let's talk spiritual. Let me get you spiritual. Let me get you spiritual. Spiritual. Pump it down. Give me your spiritual thought.
Yeah. Yeah, we just. Oh, whoops. That's funny. I almost just. That'd be funny. I totally just end the meeting. Click the wrong.
Spiritual thought.
All right, our man. Speaking of inspiring people, here's old Joseph Smith Jr. So this is a quote from him. The object with me is to obey and teach others to obey God in just what he tells us to do. It mattereth not whether the principle is popular or unpopular. I will always maintain a true principle, even if I stand alone in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I read that quote. I read that quote this week. I thought of that quote this week, man, and I just thought I needed to be reminded of that again. And so here's the commitment: as the few become fewer, find the resolve to stand alone. Because as once again going full circle at the beginning here, as Topher said at the beginning here, it's a constant battle with Babylon, and it's like, okay, are we resolved to stand alone in this? And I think that with me, that this is my hardest thing is I don't want to stand. I don't want to stand alone. And especially when you have a wife or a husband or kids, and it's like, with me personally, it's like I don't want to be the bad guy. When everyone's like, "Hey, let's go to a movie," or "Hey, let's go do this," and it's like, I don't want to be the bad guy. You don't genuinely. I don't think any of us want to be the few. So this idea, like, oh, you think you're better than other people, and you think it's like, no, I don't. I really want to fit in. I want to be liked. Like the people of God. You think Joseph liked being alone? Is that the statement here? That Joseph was like, oh, I love being alone, and I hate the world. It's like, no, it's just I know the truth, and if I have to stand alone in it, I will. And I'll tell you what, I know that there was days of crushing loneliness that this man had to experience in his life, and but he still made the choice to stand on what he knew was right, and so that's the commitment this week.
Love it. Everything we
Right,
just talked
commitment.
about in the news and everything, like all of that is pointing to everything we believe being unpopular, and all of the garbage and the nonsense, as I've been calling it, is popular. 73 million abortions, a bajillion people celebrating Pride Month. It's like everything is becoming unpopular for us and popular to the world. And so we don't want to stand alone, but we have to be prepared to stand alone.
Yeah.
That's the fact. And we don't, and the good thing is we don't have to if we're around other good people, right? And that's the other point. But the world is continuing to lean into these principles that to us should be unpopular. And we may at times have to stand alone, or at least hopefully be with our people. But we will stand alone if we have to for the truth. So yeah, that's really good.
Personally,
good.
I feel like I've stood alone pretty much in the gospel my entire life, like with sparse exception. Like I felt alone in my mission. I felt alone coming back off my mission. I felt alone in my school. I felt alone in my friend group. I felt alone, sometimes around some family members. I've always felt alone in what I believe. And guess what? Lived it anyway. Don't give a damn. So this is how I roll. And I think maybe it's a blessing for me because I feel like there's a lot out there that are in the gospel because of culture, upbringing, whatever. And when they're really tested to see whether they will stand alone in something that's completely unpopular all by themselves, I think a lot of people will fall apart because they've never had that tested. They've never made the commitments. They've never had that tested. But it's always been my part in life to pretty much have to stand alone in what I believe, and I'll continue to do it. I don't care how hard it is. I'll do it.
Amen.
Awesome. We were talking about this actually beforehand, me and Topher, about how the Wilkes superpower is just that. So that's
So not give a damn.
yeah, that's I was literally saying that was the Wilkes superpower. Yeah, so that's funny.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Ah,
Our parents didn't
alright.
give us much.
But
certainly
they
gave
didn't
it.
give a damn.
That's what we got. Some will say it's a burden and a curse rather than a blessing. But anyway.
All right. Thank you, brothers and sisters. You made it to the end. And if you accidentally clicked this, well, you've come through the ringer and come out the other side and probably learnt a thing or two, or maybe you're dumber for having gone through it. Who knows? But thanks for sticking around.
You be the judge.
You be the judge. We report, you decide. But no, we thank you all. We appreciate you sticking with us and watching, and we hope you get something out of it. And we are your favorite or least favorite
Three
brothers.
We love you.
Love us.
We appreciate you. Don't forget, hit us up with comments and questions, because I'll end up in these videos if they're worth mentioning. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, love us or hate us, we're still your three brothers.
Yeah.